The Fatter Wallets Show is where faith meets finance and wisdom shapes work. Each episode explores how timeless principles of stewardship, wealth, and purpose can transform the way listeners live and build. On Fatter Wallets, we share biblical insight and practical strategies, addressing real-world challenges in money, business, and mindset. Our goal: help our listeners grow in wisdom and wealth, following financial principles rooted in faith and purpose. Today, we are taking an in-depth look at, well, arguably the most powerful modern platform for generating wealth and influence: digital video. We're moving past just the idea of, making content.
Good.
Instead, we're really examining the hard business mechanics and the strategies you need to turn online influence into something truly sustainable, something that aligns with our core focus here on purpose and financial stewardship. We're going to pull apart the data-driven formulas that allow these platforms to operate not just as entertainment, but as, well, highly scalable modern business engines.
That's exactly right. Our mission today is highly practical. We want to extract the concrete strategies for maximizing audience engagement and, crucially, monetization. For you, the listener, we want to provide that blueprint for converting influence, authentic audience connection into tangible long-term wealth.
Yeah.
And all built on proven business principles.
Okay, let's unpack this new economy then. Starting with Section 1, scaling wealth through digital influence. The scale of the opportunity here is, well, it's truly unparalleled, isn't it? We see experts constantly saying that every major brand and really every individual or small business must establish a serious presence here. To intentionally ignore this digital marketplace today is often called, well, financial insanity.
It really is the reality of modern commerce. I mean, for many young people in America, becoming a successful digital creator is now the most coveted job. And this isn't just about fame. It's rooted in massive financial potential, the ability to scale influence globally with this platform's reach. It's just unmatched by anything that came before it.
And the reason for this shift, it seems to stem from the fundamental failure of, well, traditional advertising. Let's look at the attention economy. Why is traditional media spending, the kind that costs millions, why is it feeling so badly right now?
It's all about consumer behavior, you see. We have to acknowledge the huge shift in how attention is allocated. Think about any major TV event, like the Super Bowl, right? A company might spend, $5 million for a 30-second ad spot, but the moment those commercials roll, the data shows this massive spike in tweets, in social media activity. People are literally pulling out their phones, their single mobile device, to divert their attention away from the ads. It's interruptive advertising at its most expensive and maybe least effective now.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now, contrast that experience with someone watching a creator they actually trust. If a brand partners with that creator, they might integrate a message that lasts, say, 10 or even 15 minutes, a whole brand story or a tutorial. And they're paying substantially less than that $5 million.
And here's the crucial metric. Viewers are statistically 3 times less likely to skip a brand deal that's integrated and endorsed by a creator they trust, compared to skipping a traditional interruptive TV ad. That difference, that 3x lower skip rate, that's pretty much the entire business model in a nutshell.
So why is that connection so powerful? It seems kind of counterintuitive, doesn't it? That a person in their home studio is somehow more trusted than a massive celebrity paid millions for a fancy commercial.
Well, it really comes down to perceived authenticity, that deep, sustained audience trust. It's worth far more than any impersonal celebrity appearance. Creators build these parasocial relationships. The viewer feels like they genuinely know and trust the person talking to them. So the brand endorsement feels more like a recommendation from a friend, not just some paid placement. And this is why the primary goal has to shift. You don't just want the most views anymore. You really need to be the most talked about by a loyal, dedicated audience.
Right. And we have a stunning anecdote that really proves this value of connection over just sheer spending power. Let's look at 2 apps that launched around the same time. One was a creator-led promotion for an app called Finger on the App.
Yeah, the creator, who had built this massive influence, announced a challenge. The last person to keep their finger on the screen wins $25,000. And they barely promoted it on their main platform. They mostly used secondary channels like Instagram and Twitter. Despite huge restrictions, it was only for iPhones. Only in the US, that initial launch generated an incredible 1.5 million installs.
1.5 million. Okay, now compare that to the now infamous Quibi launch. Happened around the same time. Quibi was this mobile video platform backed by heavy hitters, spending a colossal $1.7 billion on production, marketing, launch, everything. And yet their day one install count was only 300,000.
The difference is just astonishing, isn't it? Quibi had practically unlimited resources, all the traditional marketing firepower, yet they achieved just a fraction of the installs compared to a creator-driven challenge launched with, well, minimal budget. The lesson seems pretty clear. Massive marketing budgets can't manufacture connection or excitement. If you create something inherently cool, authentic, shareable, something that goes viral because people are genuinely anticipating it, you win, you basically bypass the need for traditional, expensive advertising entirely.
In this shift, it fundamentally levels the playing field for businesses, especially smaller ones. The classic example that demonstrates this perfectly is Orabrush, the tongue cleaner.
Oh yeah, Dr. Bob. The inventor, Dr. Bob Wagstaff, he was a 75-year-old entrepreneur. He tried launching his product through all the traditional avenues. He invested his own life savings into producing an infomercial, and it completely flopped. Zero traction, zero sales. He had a great product, but just no way to reach the market.
So then he sought help from a local university marketing class, right?
Yeah.
And a student, Jeffrey Harmon. I think the payment was Dr. Bob's motorcycle. Anyway, he decided to tackle the project using this new digital video platform.
That's right. Harmon and his friends created this simple, kind of quirky viral video campaign, cost just a few $100s. That single strategic move took the product from zero sales to a global multi-million-dollar brand. Sold in over 30,000 stores across like 24 countries. And crucially, that entire growth trajectory was 100% facilitated by the digital platform. Suddenly, the little guy, the old inventor, the college kids, had access to a global distribution channel previously reserved only for, multinational giants.
And this isn't just a story about marketing. It feels like a story about the stewardship of resources, too. They took minimal capital, applied wisdom, and achieved these exponential results. It really proves that the barrier to entry has basically evaporated for anyone with a good idea, a smart strategy, and the ability to connect authentically. Okay, so we've established that attention is the foundation of this new economy. Now, we really need to understand the machine that drives and analyzes that attention. This brings us to section 2. Decoding the system attention is the new currency. To succeed, you absolutely must understand the rules of engagement set by the platform's AI.
Exactly. And the origin story of the system really emphasizes the power of data-driven decisions over just, initial gut feeling. This global video phenomenon actually started on Valentine's Day 2005 with a completely different purpose. It was originally a dating website.
A dating website? Seriously, that's almost unbelievable given what it is now.
It's true. The original slogan was, "Tune in, hook up." The three founders were so desperate for content they tried everything to get user videos. They even ran an ad on Craigslist, offering women $20 cash to upload a dating video of themselves.
Wow. And what was the response to that $20 offer? Let me guess.
Zero. Zero responses. The concept was a total failure. But the pivot, that's what changed history. The founders didn't stubbornly cling to their dating vision. They looked at the early data from the handful of users they actually had. And they realized users weren't interested in dating profiles at all. They were uploading clips of themselves, their pets, funny stunts, random daily life stuff. They were using the platform for self-broadcasting.
So they made this radical, data-driven decision. Scrap the dating model entirely, focus solely on becoming the world's self-broadcasting platform. That pivot is just a masterclass in prioritizing observed user behavior over your own preconceived notions, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that system is now governed by an incredibly sophisticated machine learning AI. Every single function, every update is driven by two simple overarching goals. These are like the platform's mission statement.
Okay, what are those two foundational goals?
Number 1, predict what the viewer will watch next. And number 2, maximize the viewer's long-term engagement and satisfaction. See, if the AI can predict your desires and keep you engaged and satisfied, you stay on the platform longer, you watch more ads, and then the platform, the creators, makes more money. It's a cycle.
The technical side of this must be just staggering. We're talking about, 80 billion data points of user behavior collected every single day. And the system learns what keeps you, the viewer, satisfied through what they call satisfaction signals.
Right. These signals are basically the AI's feedback loop. They include the obvious stuff. Videos watched, videos skipped, the percentage of time you spent watching, likes, dislikes. But the truly insightful data comes from the more subtle signals. For instance, did you use the not interested button? That signal is exponentially more powerful than a simple skip. It tells the AI that the recommendation was offensive or highly irrelevant. And that leads to immediate penalties for that content's visibility. It's a strong negative vote.
That's fascinating. So as a creator, you need to understand that a simple skip might be okay, part of browsing maybe,
But a user clicking not interested sends this really strong negative signal that directly affects your chances of being recommended globally.
Precisely. Other subtle signals include things like, did you come back to finish a video later? That indicates high intrinsic interest. Or did you immediately search for more content from the same creator after watching? That shows high loyalty. The entire system is constantly refining its ability to predict future satisfaction based on all these behavioral patterns.
Okay, let's talk about the tech that processes the content even before it gets served to the AI. It starts with that critical first visual element, the thumbnail. What kind of proprietary tech is the platform using to dissect and categorize that image?
They use Google's Cloud Vision, or CV. CV employs optical character recognition, OCR, so it reads text and advanced image recognition. It doesn't just see a picture, it dissects the elements within it. If your thumbnail has a person, CV identifies facial features, objects, text, even the colors used.
And why is this important for a creator to know?
Because it's how the AI first groups content. If CV detects a close-up of a well-known person, say Stephen Hawking, it assigns data points that tag the video under the Stephen Hawking topic. This grouping is essential for discoverability. The AI immediately knows which other similar videos to recommend your content alongside. Plus, CV also runs a safety check. It assigns a confidence score to assess appropriateness, checking for violence, adult themes, stuff like that. This helps the platform filter content and helps creators avoid immediate demonetization issues right off the bat.
And the analysis doesn't stop there, right? Once the video is uploaded, the AI's video intelligence takes over, scanning literally every single frame.
That's correct. It creates incredibly detailed shot lists and labels based on the actual visual content. If you have a sequence where you, say, walk down a street, the AI detects the storefronts, it recognizes specific brands on clothing or signs, identifies objects like flowers or cars. It logs all of that info. This validates the initial thumbnail grouping and provides really rich context for the recommendation feeds. You have to realize everything in every frame is detectable and sortable now.
Then we have the audio analysis, using closed captioning and natural language processing, NLP, to extract the meaning of the dialogue.
Yeah, and this is where the AI gets truly insightful. It moves way beyond simple keyword matching. NLP analyzes sentence structure, emotional tone. For instance, two different creators might talk about the same person. Let's stick with Stephen Hawking. One video might be a somber biographical reflection. The other might be a humorous or satirical take. Even though the keywords are identical, Stephen Hawking, NLP understands the fundamental difference in category and intent based on the language used. This allows the AI to categorize them correctly and suggest them to two very different viewer demographics who are looking for different things.
So it's really not one single all-powerful algorithm running the entire platform. We need to think of it more like algorithms, plural, a collection of specialized systems.
Yeah, absolutely. There are multiple separate optimization protocols running simultaneously, depending on where you, the user, are navigating on the platform.
Cool.
The surface features we interact with, browses, that's your homepage and subscription feed, suggested videos, trending, notifications, search each has its own slightly different priorities for maximizing a successful recommendation, a hit rate.
Can you clarify the difference between, say, the browse algorithm and the suggested algorithm? What are they trying to do differently?
Sure. The browse algorithm, which powers your homepage, used to just show you stuff from channels you subscribe to. Now, it heavily prioritizes freshness and personalized recommendations from new channels you've never even encountered before. The AI learned that, suggesting entirely new content, but content that aligns perfectly with your historical preferences, actually gets users to stick around longer than just showing them variations of what they just watched. It's kind of like having a master tailor build you a custom outfit you didn't even know you wanted. It fits perfectly, but introduces a fresh style.
That makes sense. And the suggested feed, then, which includes that critical up next video. It has a different objective.
Yes. Suggested content's main goal is creating that rabbit hole effect. It looks for content, often from the same creator, or maybe tightly knit similar creators, that keeps the viewer on a specific track, maximizing that immediate watch session. However, it's also designed to recognize when you might be getting tired of a subject, so it mixes in watch something else, recommendations, maybe totally different topics, but still personalized based on your long-term data. These systems are running constantly, learning, refining, all focused on those two core mission statements, predicting what you'll watch and maximizing your long-term satisfaction.
Okay, we've decoded the machine that drives attention. But attention without a plan, well, it's kind of meaningless, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's pivot to section 3, wealth-building, diversifying digital income streams. This platform isn't just about viewership. It's fundamentally about converting that viewership into diverse, long-term wealth.
Right. And that transition from just attention to actual income really began back in 2007 with the creation of the YouTube Partner Program, or YPP. This was the original gold rush, really, where the platform pioneered revenue sharing with its content creators.
And that initial split was remarkably generous, kind of setting the standard. 55% to the creator, 45% to the platform. Now, to understand the monetization logistics, creators really have to master the difference between CPM and RPM. Can you break those down?
Sure. Advertisers pay CPM. That's cost per mil, meaning thousand in Latin. So it's the cost per thousand ad impressions. That's what the advertiser pays the platform. The creator, however, tracks their RPM, or revenue per mil. This metric is much more comprehensive now. It represents the creator's total revenue, not just from ads, but from all sources like channel memberships, super chat, premium subscriptions, everything divided by their total views, again, per thousand. Since around 2020, this RPM metric has become a much more transparent and useful number for financial planning for creators.
Okay, so RPM is the real indicator of how much the creator is actually making per thousand views from everything, not just the ads served. But here's the key challenge, right? Just being a partner doesn't automatically guarantee income.
Absolutely not. Even if you're in the partner program, you might still earn very little or even nothing from AdSense if your specific content doesn't align with the incredibly specific demographic targets that advertisers are looking for. Advertisers might only want to pay for viewers who are, say, 25 to 34, maybe in a certain income bracket, living in a specific city or country. If your core audience doesn't fit that precise profile for a given ad campaign, the ads simply won't show up with your content. Or the CPM paid for those impressions will be negligible.
So a creator's strategy for maximizing income has to involve, first, intimately knowing their niche audience, but also maybe intentionally appealing to broader pop culture themes occasionally, just to expand that reach to more advertiser-friendly demographics. It's a bit of a balancing act.
That blend is vital, yeah. But AdSense, really, it's just the entry point. Sustainable wealth building, the kind we focus on here at Fatter Wallets, requires diversification. Creators absolutely must adopt the platform's version of a diversified investment portfolio for their income.
Okay, let's look at those key streams. Starting with channel memberships. How do those work?
Channel memberships let viewers pay a monthly subscription fee for exclusive perks or content. Think of it like a Patreon, but built right into the platform. And the revenue split here is much more favorable. 70% goes to the creator, 30% to the platform. Creators often use this reliable, recurring revenue stream to fund really ambitious projects, maybe launching world tours, or paying for the production of exclusive miniseries that AdSense alone just wouldn't cover. It's direct income from your most loyal fans.
Right. Next up are Super Chat and Super Stickers, which you see a lot during live streams. This is basically a donation system, but it adds a layer of gamification, doesn't it?
It really does. It creates this powerful, immediate way for viewers to interact and show direct appreciation during a live event. We've seen channels like the Ohana Adventure Family channel transition to full-time creation supported largely by consistent live stream contributions. And the velocity can be unbelievable sometimes. Some major live streams have recorded generating revenue exceeding $400 a minute during peak moments.
$400 a minute. Wow. And the interactivity is key there, right?
Yeah.
Creators can set up automated triggers to incentivize higher tiers of Super Chat donations.
Exactly. Using integration tools, you can link donation amounts to specific physical or digital rewards right there in the stream. A small donation might just display a message on screen, but a higher tier could automatically trigger flashing lights on the set, maybe play a custom sound effect, or even set off a physical confetti cannon in the room. This kind of spectacle encourages more generosity and keeps the live stream really engaging and fun.
Okay, the third major stream is merchandise, moving beyond platform fees and into direct product sales.
Right. And the platform's unique feature here is the merch shelf, which sits directly beneath the video player. This specific placement is a massive traffic driver. The data shows it consistently generates about 30% more clicks than links you might put in the video description or on your channel banner. And the traffic is super warm. People are literally watching content related to the product they're about to potentially buy. We saw this with Lucas the animated spider. His plush toy replica sold over $800,000 worth in just 10 days, driven almost entirely by that integrated merch shelf.
This really brings us to the core principle of long-term wealth building, doesn't it? AdSense might open the door, but true business ownership is king.
Absolutely. Look at Ryan Kaji's channel, the Kids Toy Review channel. He was the top earner in 2019, pulling in something like $26 million. But here's the key piece of wisdom. ad revenue was not their biggest source of income, not even close. Their brand licensing deals, their own line of toys, their streaming deals with other platforms, that true business ownership side dwarfed the AdSense revenue. It just proves that AdSense is the opportunity opener, but actually controlling the sales channel yourself is where scalable, potentially generational wealth is built.
And a perfect case study for making this transition is the McKnight family, the creators of the Cute Girls Hairstyles channel. They kind of learned this lesson the hard way, didn't they?
They did. Initially, their income was split roughly 50-50 between AdSense and doing brand deals for other companies' products. But then they realized they were constantly sending their massive loyal audience off to buy someone else's hair products, so they decided, why not become our own brand deal? And they launched their own proprietary product line, Heritage.
And they later mentioned they actually regretted not making that pivot to ownership sooner. They realized their audience trusted their expertise implicitly, and that trust could be directly transferred to a product they personally controlled and believed in. They ended up pitching their line directly to Walmart and secured prime real estate on physical shelves, integrating their digital influence directly into traditional retail, a huge leap.
Yeah. And they even had to kind of educate the traditional retail execs on modern digital marketing. They used affiliate links, micro-influencers, driving sales back into the physical store from online buzz. They focused on creating products that weren't just high quality, but also Instagram-worthy in their design, knowing that aesthetics would encourage online sharing and organic growth. Their whole journey just underscores that while the platform generates income, owning the sales channel of your product, your business allows you to control the brand narrative and build true financial independence and stewardship over your work.
Okay, so we've established the business model, the financial streams. Now let's pivot to section 4, the content formula maximizing retention and clicks. Because none of this wealth is possible if the viewer doesn't click in the first place, and then, crucially, if they don't stay watching.
Exactly. The click is the absolute first hurdle, and it is governed entirely by that visual and verbal hook. Netflix research has shown that the artwork alone accounts for over 80% of consumer attention while they're just browsing. Our brains are processing visual information incredibly fast in as little as 13 milliseconds.
13 milliseconds. That just emphasizes the brutal efficiency you need in that title and thumbnail combination to spark curiosity and earn that click. It's instantaneous.
And the top creators understand this priority absolutely. Mr. Beast, for example, is famous for spending days just strategizing his titles and thumbnails. He follows this really stringent rule. If he cannot create a title-thumbnail combo that he believes is just irresistibly clickable, he will actually scrap the entire video idea. Doesn't matter how much time or money went into the core concept, the click is the absolute lifeblood.
Wow. Okay, so let's break down the thumbnail strategy first, the visual cortex of your content. What are the key design principles that consistently translate to high click-through rates?
Okay, first, the image has to instantly create curiosity and tell a story without needing a lot of text. Maybe no text at all. You want to see complex human emotion interacting with an object of high curiosity. We often see 3 really effective patterns. Face first, where a person's shocked or intense expression is the main focus. Face and object, which clearly establishes a relationship between the person and the subject. And object first, where the object itself is bold, large, maybe centered like a massive structure or an exotic animal.
And color contrast plays a huge role too, right? And just making it stand out in that really crowded recommendation feed.
Absolutely huge. Using contrasting or complementary colors, think opposites on the color wheel, like blue and orange or red and green makes the thumbnail visually pop and cuts through the noise. And critically, creators must always check the final design on a mobile device. Why? Because 70% of watch time happens on mobile. If your design looks cluttered or the text is impossible to read on a small phone screen, you've lost the click before anyone even considers your content. You can even screenshot your target search results page and literally Photoshop your draft thumbnail in just to see if it genuinely stands out against the current competition.
That's a great practical tip. Okay, so once the click is secured by the thumbnail, the title takes over, reinforcing that verbal hook. Titles need to be memorable, easy to explain, simple to share that essential water cooler moment factor.
Yeah, you need to pass the elevator pitch test, basically. A great title should be something a viewer can effortlessly relay to a friend or colleague. Hey, did you see the video where X did Y? Some actionable strategies include using active voice to create urgency, incorporating numbers for listicles, 7 essential reasons, that kind of thing. And very effectively, stating a problem and immediately offering a solution in the title itself.
Like the example, Elon's satellite internet is a mess. This is how you fix it. That immediately grabs anyone who might be experiencing that specific problem.
Exactly. Or leveraging human emotions like urgency or fear of missing out, FOMO. We need to colonize Mars now before it's too late. This combination, strong visual curiosity plus a compelling verbal promise, is what gets the viewer into your video. But like you said, the work has only just begun. Because now the retention game starts, keeping them watching.
Right. Retention is what the platform ultimately rewards the most, which leads us to this universal pattern of narration, the story arc. It's used by great creators, classic television. It all starts with the hook.
The hook has to happen immediately, usually in the first, say, 7 to 30 seconds. It's often a monologue, maybe a bold claim, or a moment of unexpected chaos that locks the viewer in because they have an unanswered question. What happens next? After that crucial hook, you have to master re-engagement. This means skillfully weaving in multiple secondary storylines throughout the video.
Yeah, we see this in classic stuff like Seinfeld, right? Well, Jerry has his main plot line. There are these parallel secondary threads, George's job fiasco, Elaine's bad date, Kramer's scheme, that keep your attention fragmented but sticky.
Exactly. Those side stories keep the viewer's attention from drifting during maybe slower moments in the main plot. You then move into the setup, where you're teasing the climax, building anticipation, offering little breadcrumbs about the eventual payoff. This all leads, naturally, to the climax, the unpredictable, hopefully emotional resolution of the main storyline.
But the real retention masterclass requires one final element, doesn't it? Something that drives watch time right to the very end.
The goosh. Yes. It's that bonus content, the unexpected hidden gem, or the final little twist that happens after the main conclusion seems to be over. Think of the post-credit scene in a Marvel movie. You don't leave the theater, right? Because you know that final, rewarding piece of content is coming. You're trained to wait for it.
So why is this final piece so non-negotiable for creators aiming for top-tier retention today?
Because it dramatically boosts that crucial retention metric. By consistently placing a valuable goosh at the very end, you literally train your audience to watch until the final second, every time. This tells the AI the video is highly valuable, kept the viewer satisfied longer, and therefore dramatically increases the chance of that video being recommended to entirely new audiences. Then, usually, there's a quick wrap-up, tying everything back to the original theme or hook, leaving the viewer with a final cohesive thought.
And simplicity is key to this disciplined storytelling, too. Mr. Beast's rule is worth repeating. If he can't explain the entire video concept in a single, simple sentence, it's too complicated, and he won't make it. Complexity kills retention.
And retention truly is non-negotiable, even for straightforward commercial success. Think back to that Squatty Potty ad, the one with the famous ice cream pooping unicorn. It was a long ad, over 4 minutes. Traditional marketing folks apparently advised them to cut it way down, make a standard 30-second spot, but they refused. Their retention metrics showed that an astonishing 92.6% of viewers watched that ad all the way to the very end.
That's just unheard of for an advertisement, especially one that long.
It really is. They succeeded because they maintained the value proposition, the entertainment, the humor throughout the entire 4 minutes. They respected the viewer's commitment. They clearly prioritized the rule, message first, content second, ensuring the quality was consistent and driven by the audience's needs and satisfaction, not just the creator's ego or assumptions. And this focus on message, on quality, on serving the audience, it leads us perfectly into our final reflection in Section 5. Beyond profit, the real power of influence and stewardship.
Right. The wealth earned on these platforms provides this incredible opportunity, maybe even a responsibility, for purposeful stewardship. We're really called to use the leverage of our influence to achieve something greater than just personal gain, aren't we? And Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast, provides probably the prime example today of transitioning massive giveaways into full-scale philanthropic movements.
His entire business model is now based on reinvesting his immense fortune. He famously doesn't squander it on flashy personal luxuries. He uses it, in his words, to create bigger spectacles and make a bigger difference, driving his philanthropic goals. His early, almost random giveaways matured into these global movements like Team Trees.
Team Trees started so simply, didn't it? Almost as a joke on Reddit about planting 20 million trees for hitting a subscriber milestone. But he took that idea seriously, partnered with the Arbor Day Foundation, and then mobilized over 8,000 other influencers to spread the word. Just an incredible, coordinated effort.
That coordinated effort, just leveraging the audience connectivity of creators worldwide, generated over 500,000 individual donations in just 55 days. They raised $22 million to plant 20 million trees globally. The sheer influence was powerful enough to bring in massive donors too, like Elon Musk's $1 million donation, earning him the playful nickname Treebeard from Jimmy. And Shopify CEO Tobias Lütke matched it, adding $1 just to one-up Musk, becoming Tabilo Lorax. It was incredible to watch.
The scale is just immense. And they applied this model again during the COVID pandemic, right? Producing that virtual rock, paper, scissors tournament with 32 top creators. That effort raised $5.8 million, which Google then matched, totaling $12 million for global relief efforts. It just demonstrates the staggering capital mobilization power that's available to those who choose to steward their influence toward a clear purpose.
And to sustain that kind of purposeful influence long-term, creators really need a disciplined approach to building a loyal audience that genuinely shares a core mission. And that's where the Primal Branding Framework offers a really clear blueprint. It breaks down the essential components.
Right. This framework outlines what you need to build that loyal, purpose-driven community.
Yeah.
The first component is the creation story.
Yeah, your creation story needs to be personal, authentic, and create a sense of legacy. It answers the fundamental questions. Where did this mission come from? Why does it matter? It's about inviting the audience to take my vision and help make it our vision. People connect really deeply with the authentic story behind the business or the mission.
Okay, second is the creed. This is the core belief system, right? The rally cry the community identifies with.
Exactly. Take the TV series The Chosen. Their creed initially started almost as a protest against the traditional Hollywood system. Their rallying cry was basically, we need to hold the gold ourselves to create the content we believe in without interference. That defiance became the core belief system that really galvanized their initial audience.
Then we have rituals. These are the consistent, anticipated events that keep engagement high and build community habits.
Right. Rituals provide stability and expectation. This could be anything from a specific day for live streams, like, say, Monday night Q&As, to consistent behind-the-scenes programming that shows the audience exactly how the mission is being executed. Rituals transform passive consumption into an active, shared experience over time.
Next up is the lexicon. These are the sacred words or catchphrases unique to the community.
These are the phrases adopted by the community that become shorthand for their shared mission or identity. For The Chosen, phrases like binge Jesus or the specific Chosen.tv jingle became part of their lexicon. These were then integrated back into their creed, their products, strengthening that community identity.
And every successful mission, every strong community, needs a leader.
Yeah, someone has to be the face and the voice, the central figure who sends out that rallying cry that loyal followers will answer. This is the influencer aspect of the brand, really, is someone who embodies the creed and the creation story, providing that visible guidance and vision.
And finally, the ultimate goal of this framework, developing the superfan.
Right. These fans move way beyond just mere consumption. They become true evangelists, facilitators, organizers for the mission. Think of the classic deadheads analogy followers, so loyal that they organize their own events, create sub-communities, and end up generating massive organic revenue and awareness. These superfans absolutely must be embraced, rewarded, listened to, because they truly take ownership of the mission alongside the leader.
And in fact, these superfans often come up with the best and most practical ideas, don't they?
Yeah.
There was an example where a fan suggested that The Chosen run an auction for signed merchandise, just via a private Facebook group. And that simple idea, coming directly from the community, generated tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected revenue, not an idea from company headquarters.
Exactly. That whole discipline, the authenticity, the connection, the purposeful stewardship of influence, that's the key. It's what separates fleeting short-term fame from building long-term, purpose-driven wealth and impact. You're genuinely building something bigger than yourself with your community.
Yeah, I want to conclude our discussion today with a really powerful reflection on impact. It was shared by a mentor who learned it from his grandpa Jack. They were camping by a reservoir one day, and the water was perfectly calm, like glass. Grandpa Jack picked up a rock and said, "Derral, you are like this rock. You're hard-headed, strong, and maybe a little rough around the edges. The water is the world." And then he threw the rock into the water, shattering that glassy surface, sending ripples out across the entire reservoir.
Wow. Powerful image.
Yeah. And then he said, "What you do can impact so many people. What impact will you have on the world? Will it be good or will it be bad?" And that's really the final reflection we want to leave you with today. Success on this platform, building influence and wealth, it's genuinely achievable by anyone, anywhere.
If you follow the data, if you remain authentic to your mission, and if you consciously choose the type of impact you want your growing influence to have in the world.
The formula for building influence and wealth, the tools, they're available to you now more than ever before. The question really remains, how will you use the platform to be your own rock, and what kind of ripples will you choose to send out, good or bad?
If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe and visit fatterwallets.com for more content, resources, and tools to help you live wisely and build wealth with purpose.